Hi, everybody. Rob Cootie here. Just want to let you know that we're going live here very shortly. Marie and I will be on here. Please share this invite with our fellow network marketers all across the globe so they can have access to the same wonderful information. Thank you.
Welcome to the MLM Solution Podcast Show, where you'll learn the facts and hear the truth about the network marketing industry. Here's your host, Rob Cootie.
Hello, Miss Marie. How are you today?
Good morning, Rob. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing fine as well. For the little bit of sleep I got, I feel great, and that's awesome. And
so you're back on your regular lack of sleep schedule, huh?
Well, I even hate to bring it up because who cares? All right. Who really cares? But the only reason I bring it up because I'm amazed at my age that I have the energy that I do. I went to bed about 4:30 and got up at 6:30. So there you go. And I won't be able to lay down for the rest of the day because I got a full day until about 7 or 8 o'clock tonight. So it's just amazing, but I can't do that because it's not healthy. And I don't want to act like it's healthy. And I'm not bragging. So please don't do what I'm doing. It is.
Well, I keep hearing that as we get older, we need less sleep. So apparently I'm not quite there yet. I'm not on your level.
Well, I don't want to be on my level. I enjoy sleeping. I am not a sleep type person. In other words, I know some people that are totally in love with it, in love with naps. As I get older, I do take naps. Here's the point, Ms. Marie. If I get tired, I'll lay down because my body's telling me. And I do not want to put my body through that. I want to be as healthy as I can be as I get older. Doing this is not smart. It has a slingshot effect. And I do not. The only reason I bring it up, well, not the only reason, but one of the reasons I bring it up is to show people my commitment to helping them. And obviously, you got to pay a price when you want to be successful. It doesn't matter what age you are. I mean, you look at my age. I'm still out there doing it. I enjoy doing it. I love doing it. But there has to be a common sense approach as well. I want people to see that Rob is saying this is not good. It's not good to do this long term. Okay, I can do it on a short term basis. But what I'll do, Miss Marie, is for 2 days, I'll do it. I'll really push myself hard, if you want to use that term. But I do pace myself very evenly. But then I'll go to bed for 2-3 days in a row at a normal time and sleep throughout the night. I am not going to do that to myself. I have to balance it. And I have to get as much done in that 2 to 3 day spurt that I do so that I can have a normal life the 4 extra or the other 4 days. So,
yeah, I don't know. My theory is always normal is kind of boring. So who wants to be normal, right?
Well, I agree. But normal in the sleep pattern is a good thing. So I'll take the normal in that. I agree with you. If there's anything, I'm abnormal.
Well, let's go with a regular sleep pattern. Maybe that's a better phraseology to use there.
Yeah, there you go. I agree with that. So, but anyway, I'm excited because I got, as I said, without getting off target here on our subject matter, I got a lot done last night. We're gonna be able to go live on our full website very shortly, and then I can concentrate on the social media side and hire some people to do that. So I'm really excited about that. And as you know, I flooded you with a lot of documents about 3 a.m. last night. And I'm surprised you didn't get up and read them.
Well, I saw it this morning when I did get up, but my schedule was already full. So it's slotted to be reviewed later today.
There you go. There you go. Well, the main thing is they're done and they are good enough. And what I mean by that is that, Ms. Marie, they are, I'm sure the grammatical things, if there is any, and I'm sure there are some small ones. And thank you for taking the time to do that. But for the most part, Ms. Marie, they are very, we could use them and be proud of them. They're done in a quality, first-class way, but at the same time, I do believe they're clear and concise enough at the moment. There is one paragraph I'm a little bit nervous about. I'm anxious to see your input. But the point is we could use them today if we wanted to, and they would be effective. There's no doubt. And so, guys, what we're doing is, as I said before, without dragging on this subject, we're updating a lot of the documents. And what I try to do is balance some of the documents that are more time intensive with those that are quick and easy so that I'm making progress on multiple documents instead of just focusing on one. So I try not to overwhelm her. I'm sending her the simple ones now. And what I mean by simple is that they're probably 7 pages long and not a lot of reading so that she can breeze through them and we can move on to the next. So, Miss Marie, with that being said, I got a lot of website stuff done last night as well. I'm really excited about that because I'm sick and tired of working on it, to be honest with you. So I'm really excited about that. And there again, if people went to the website, they would not know that there's an issue with that website or page, whatever it is they're on. But in order for it to function correctly, there are things that I need to do. So that's where that is coming from, because people are going to the website and it's functioning just fine, but it won't do what we need it to do in the long term.
Well, I think a lot of people don't understand what all goes into constructing a website and having it function the way you want. There's so much that goes on behind the scenes. It's not just what you see and what you click on the page, which is why we get into trouble with web developers sometimes, right? It's this is an easy change. It should only take you 5 minutes, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, no, that's a 3-day project because of what has to happen behind.
Right. And $1,500 later, you're saying, I thought that was supposed to be easy.
Yeah. Yep. Nothing is ever quite as easy as it looks, right?
No. Oh, no.
The trick is making it look easy.
Yes. And and we'll say this and move on our subject matter for today. But you know what, Miss Marie, putting together the web page is easy for me. That's not an issue. It's the functionality of it. Making sure it's secure, making sure that it's doing what it's supposed to do, make sure there's no glitches, et cetera, et cetera. And there's a lot of testing sometimes. Sometimes things go pretty straightforward, but here's the thing. There's a lot of times I have to test it 2-3 times. I'm like, no, that didn't work the way it's supposed to. And, you go back and adjust it and you test it again and you feel like you're splitting hairs and, you just want to pull your own hair out because you're splitting hairs. You're like, I did that the other day. When I go, that means I'm on the verge of cussing. And I really try not to do that. So I had an moment last night, I promise you. But anyway, today's subject matter, guys, as you can see, for all of you on the podcast, it is podcast number 41. And as Miss Marie said, it's hard to believe it's been 10 weeks that we've been doing this. And we are on podcast number 41 as a team, and I'm tickled pink for that. And today's subject matter, everyone is familiar with this phrase, but it applies in a different manner regarding to the network marketing business model, and that is the green-eyed monster, what it is and how to avoid it in the network marketing business model. Miss Marie, if we make that generic statement out in public, most people immediately know what it is, and it's usually the jealousy monster, green-eyed monster. And it's a little bit different in the network marketing business model because obviously the model is different than anything else out there. So we need to make sure that people understand how the green-eyed monster can rear its ugly head in not only Miss Marie's business, but in your organization as well. And it can cause real damage. So we're going to talk about what it is, and we're going to talk about how to avoid it. And really, I should have put a third one on there. If it does pop its head up, what you're going to do to fix it. Because we say it all the time, you can have a cancer automatically pop its head up overnight in your business and spread very quickly. I really don't like using that term because that cancer is such a mean, evil term or word. And I really don't. We're going to find something else to say. But anyway, the point is, you guys get it. It could be something bad and can spread quickly. So with that, Miss Marie, as always, we have to do our famous gong, right?
There it is.
Our official start of the show. All right, guys. We hope you're having a great day because today is Thursday, September 10th. And Miss Marie, I started advertising our show early this morning and I sent out, it's Freelance Friday, episode number 18. And I had to back up and say, and I put on there, oh, boo-boo, sorry, LOL. Not Freelance Friday, it is, in fact. Thank God I caught it, huh?
Well, we're just so excited for those Friday podcasts that we do because they are a lot of fun, right?
I know, and it seems like yesterday we did it. You know it. I mean, it just seems like yesterday that we did our Freelance Friday because it was a holiday weekend. I mean, bam, and here we are on the verge of our another episode, number 19. No, 18. 18 or 19. I can't remember. I'll have to look. I think it's 19 to be honest with you. So, but anyway, I at least caught it and got it correct. So I'm sure there's a lot of people out there going, "What in the world?" Because I saw where some people already access the advertisement. So people, I'm sure they were like looking at their calendar going, Friday, what in the world is he talking about? What part of the world is he in? Is it Friday where he is already?
Well, Rob, I don't think we're the only ones in the world struggling to keep track of what day it is, what month it is, that whole thing, because it's just we're living in odd times, right? I mean, honestly, I still feel like how are we 10 days into September?
Oh, I know.
When did that happen? I'm still like in June somewhere, I think, so I'm way behind.
And you know what? It was just the holiday, Miss Marie. You know, and the holiday started with September 1st. In other words, you had to get into September, the month of September, before you could have the holiday. It seemed like September 1st came and you're like, okay, holiday right around the corner. All of a sudden, boom, where did the holiday go? Did we have a holiday? Because I missed it if we did, you know. So it's like, oh, man, what a crazy year. I was looking at some pictures from California on those fires, and, you know, the whole horizon's orange. It's like you're on Mars. And as somebody stated, they had a picture of it, and somebody stated, well, another bizarre, how did they say, event of 2020. And you're talking about, I mean, Nebraska had snow on the ground, not in the mountains. But Nebraska doesn't have mountains. The storm that went through and fired itself right through your state turned around and hit Nebraska and laid that kind of snow.
Yeah, well, one of the best social media memes I've seen in the last day or so is Utah has experienced earth, wind, and fire this year because earlier in the year we were having a series of earthquakes, which we do sit on a fault line, but it's a little bit rare. The windstorm, I mean, crazy hurricane force winds that went through here the past couple of days, and then the fires, right? I mean, it's like the whole Western United States is on fire. Makes for some spectacular sunsets here. But man, the air quality and the damage and stuff that's being done, it's terrible. I feel for the folks out in California. They're just getting them left and right.
I was stationed at March Air Force Base, my second to last assignment before I retired. And I remember sitting on the base, and we were right at the bottom. Or we weren't far. We were surrounded, let me put it to you that way, by the San Gabriel Mountains? I can't remember. And the Santa Ana winds whipped through. Every year, the Santa Ana winds rip through the valleys and the mountains. And like you, it causes almost like a hurricane force type wind when they whip through there. And anybody that lives in California that's listening to this podcast knows what I'm talking about. And it's the same time every year, the infamous Santa Ana winds. But unfortunately, arsonists love that time of year, and they set fires knowing that the wind is going to rip through there and it will just take. And so I was sitting on the base, and I remember sitting up on the balcony of where I lived and seeing the mountains on fire and watching the homes burn. And just watching the fire just literally go up the mountain to the peak before it burned out. And yeah, it just breaks your heart, you know, because it's affecting so many people's lives. And it's just hard to believe that people are that mean that they would do something like that, knowing the damage and the death it would cause. But some people are really sick, you know, they're not like us. They have the reason I say arson, because most of the fires, as they have stated many times over the years, you can go back and check, many of those fires are started by arsonists. That love to watch things burn. And golly, it just blows you away. It's bad enough with lightning. There were some lightning strikes, you know, and there were some accidental camping fires, no doubt about it. I'm not saying every fire there was because of that, but there was more than one fire. They were simultaneous almost. And the reason is, if you and I were out camping and an amber popped up, you know how the wood will pop when it hits an air bubble and ambers will go everywhere. And that wind dragged one of those off, and it's so dry out there that time of year. before you know it, you got a fire. So it's not just the arsonist, obviously. So enough of that. Miss Marie got her eyes glazed over. Okay, Rob, enough of that. So we're already 16 minutes into our show. That's hard to believe. Or 15 minutes. It went, everything's just flying by this year, these events. I mean, it's just bam, 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 bam. I mean, I feel like I don't have enough time to take a breath. Can I take another breath before the year closes out? All right. So, Miss Marie, we got a good subject today, one that really people need to know about, green-eyed monster, what it is and how to avoid it. And if you feel like you want to, you can start the discussion. And I don't know if you've experienced it in your business. I have, unfortunately, on multiple occasions, not just one. And it is like putting out a forest fire. To be honest with you.
Yeah, a little bit. And the green-eyed monster comes into play in the network marketing industry in a few different ways, right? And one of the ways that I've observed and seen most often is when somebody comes into their network marketing business and they start getting engaged in the calls that are happening, the events that the company or their sales organization has, and they start hearing the stories that everybody loves to hear, right? It's the success stories that are happening. And of course, what happens with those success stories, they're highlighting the exceptional people, right? The folks that come into the network marketing company and all of a sudden within a short time period, they've achieved a diamond rank. And it almost starts to become, almost starts sounding like that's the norm. Like everybody can achieve diamond in 3 months when in fact, that's 5, 6, 7 rank level advancements. And it's the rare person that can attain that. Yeah. So where I see the green-eyed monster, kind of rear its head with most people is they start looking at these stories, make the mistake of thinking it's the norm, and they start looking at their business, the way they're building, the pace that they are progressing at, and thinking, oh, well, maybe I'm not cut out for this business, or what am I doing wrong that I'm not advancing as quickly? Not understanding that oftentimes those that come into a network marketing company and seem to rocket up those rank advancements have a lot of experience in network marketing. They're coming in with tools, resources, and the ability to make those advancements quickly. Whereas the majority of people coming into a network marketing business, it may be their first experience. And there's definitely a learning curve in our industry that everyone goes through. And I guarantee you, those that are advancing quickly, hitting that diamond level in 3 months, they've gone through the learning curve. They just happen to experience that learning curve somewhere else.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate that people will look at that and rather than celebrating that, hey, look what's possible in our industry, look what can be accomplished here, and then getting back to work and focusing on their own business, they get a little bit derailed and start thinking, well, what am I doing wrong? And that's when they start looking for that next shiny object that's going to be the secret that gets them advancing more quickly, yeah. Or, that magic formula that accelerates their business and, has it raining leads that are just high quality and people that are going to sign up right away. And they get frustrated and ultimately they end up giving up, which is always a shame to me.
Yes. Those are great points. And that is spot on because that's exactly, unfortunately, it's nature, I think, Miss Marie, human nature that people compare themselves to. If I look at Marie and I see the lifestyle that she's living and what she's accomplished, I want to mimic that if I'm smart. And you hope that jealousy doesn't become a part of that. And the thing is that if I start judging myself based on what she's accomplished, like she said, I'm holding myself to a standard that, number one, I may not understand. Number two, I do not know how she got there, went as quickly or whatever that she did. So what I'm saying is a lot of variables that I'm not aware of about her success. And yet internally, because I'm human, and maybe even consciously because of the way I'm made up, I'm judging myself and my lack of success and my lack of activity on what I imagine in my mind, what she's accomplished and how she did it. And in fact, a lot of what I may have in my mind may be totally off base. It may not be the case at all. So I'm holding myself to an unrealistic standard to begin with. And then what happens, as Miss Marie touched on, is that if I'm not achieving that level of success in my business for whatever reason, I'm frustrated, and I'm getting more frustrated. And when I do, I focus on me instead of my activity. And so what ends up happening, I get harder and harder on myself. I get frustrated. The stress level goes up. Maybe my spouse is giving me a hard time and what's going on? How come you're not doing this? How come you're not getting results? And you're all of a sudden, all you can see is you and you not performing up to Marie's level. Instead of sitting there and saying, Marie, can you help me? I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I'm working hard, but I'm not getting the results you are. And Marie may say, well, Rob, you're not going to, because this is what I did. And I spent a lot of time behind the scenes perfecting this. Okay. And to you, it's overnight. But believe me, I spent 10 months, 12 months, 14 months, whatever it was, until I reached this level. Okay. And then there was a lot of mistakes along the way. So don't sit and judge yourself based on what I've accomplished, because in your eyes, I came out of nowhere. But let's take an honest, realistic look at what you're doing, and let's not judge you. Let's judge what has happened. And so what she's done, she has shifted me, my mental picture of myself, from myself, now looking at the intangibles that I'm doing, the 5 simple steps. Have I filled out the 90-day mini blast goal paperwork? Have I sat down and made a lifestyle list? In other words, what is my ultimate goal? Have I done that? Do I have clear focus of what I need to do and where I'm going and when I want to get there? She's going to ask basic, simple questions, once again, to get me refocused on what really counts and what really makes this business go. And then she's going to, at the end, say, Rob, you just need to focus on yourself and make sure you're doing the steps consistently. Do consistent, correct business building activity, Rob, and you'll be fine. Don't judge your ability to talk to people. Don't judge your time management to what I've done, because it's different. So now she's reset me. She's hit the great reset button, and she's gotten rid of that green-eyed monster that was dominating my thought process. And that is, I may not verbalize it, but internally, yes, I'm a little bit jealous, because jealousy is a part of it. How did she do that? Daggone it, why don't she share that with me? She's not being fair. She's not being honest. She's got the magic bullet. She's not sharing that with me. I'm working, but I think I'm working, but I'm not. I think she's got the magic bullet and she won't share it with me. So I'm getting frustrated. So you can see where that scenario, the green-eyed monster starts small. And because of me and my stinking thinking, the green-eyed monster continued to get bigger, and he's got a bigger smile on his face. He's laughing because he's got me. So anyway, that's the scenario that I have encountered personally. That's a scenario, and I can tell you that monster gets big, Miss Marie, and I was very frustrated.
Well, it certainly can, and it's very much that idea of comparing yourself to someone else when in fact there's not really a basis for comparison there. Now, obviously, you're going to be part of the same company, you're working with the same products, the same comp plan, you're starting from the same base, but the personal experience, the skills and the abilities that you bring to your business are different than whatever anyone else is going to bring. I mean, I don't know about you, Rob, but one of the most frustrating questions that I've ever gotten asked, and it comes up with regularity, was people always want to know, well, how much are you making in the company? It's like, I'm sorry, that's the dumbest question to ask. It's like, why do you care what I'm making? Yeah. Because if I give you the answer, it's going to do one of two things to the majority of people. It's either going to make them think, oh my gosh, I could never earn that much, or it's going to limit their perspective of what they could potentially earn. They may have the skills, abilities, natural talents to go above and beyond what I've ever done.
Yes.
And that's the beauty of the industry, right? No matter where you come in the stage of the game, obviously timing does have some role in that, but
Right.
anybody can come into the organization like weeks, months, even maybe a year after me and far surpass any success that I've had.
Right. And there's no real answer there. And this is not dodging an important or controversial topic. Look, there's no real answer. When you start earning really good money and somebody comes up and asks you that question, as Miss Marie just stated, there's no real answer here. Here's why. As she stated, if you say, well, I'm making $8,000 a month, you're going to eliminate a lot of people right off the bat because they're going to say, well, gosh, there's no way I could do what Rob's doing. He's a superstar. He's this. He's good at this. He's good at that. And I'm not good at those things. And $8,000 a month, I've never made that in my whole life. I can't do that. What makes me think that I can do that? Because I don't have the skills and everything he has. Automatically disqualifying themselves instead of saying, all right, great, Rob knows what he's doing. He can teach me to do it. I'm going to do the same thing. Instead of thinking like that, most people, that's human nature, go to the negative side. They're, again, limiting themselves with stinking thinking. Okay, so she's right. If you say, well, I'm making $8,000 a month, oh my gosh, I could never do that. And that's going to be the vast majority of people. You might have out of 10 people, 2 people say, that's great, Rob, I'm going to do the same thing. And 8 others are going to go, oh my gosh, I'm going home, I can't do that. If she says, well, I'm making $150 a month, they're going to say, oh, well, she don't know what she's doing. She has no clue what she's doing. If she's only making $100, and Mary's only been in the business 1 month, her first check's $150, and the comp plan might be a little complicated, or she had to get her feet under her, or she had to stop 1 week because she had a personal thing come up. They don't know, but they're going to judge her because, oh, she's only making $150 a month. Well, I ain't putting all this time and effort into this thing to make $150 a month. That's crazy. She's been this thing a month. She should be making $10,000 a month. She obviously doesn't have a clue what she's doing. Guys, there's no right answer to that. Okay. Here's the answer. If somebody asks you that, it's not important what I'm making at this moment. I've proven that I can make money in this industry. I've done it for years. Been in this industry for a long time. Know how to make money. I just joined this company. I just got the business rolling. I'm doing very well. And what do you say? I created this past month in my business 8,000 group volume. Okay. And they're going to go, oh, okay. Focus on what you've accomplished, which is I got off to the right step. I've done this many times, and highlight your past success. Okay. If you're new, you've got a great excuse. I'm new. I'm learning on the fly, but I'm working with Marie, who's a veteran and has accomplished great things in this business. And she's working with me, and I'm doing consistent, correct business building activity. And I'm excited about the future and about the volume I'm going to be creating. And I'm already creating volume. That is the right answer. Okay. People get on the money, and that's the wrong, because there's no right answer with that either way. But what you do is you focus on your past success. If you don't have that, you focus on Marie and her success, and that she's working with you, and you're excited about the future, and you've already created volume. If you're Marie, you say, hey, I've been doing this a long time. I know what I'm doing. I just got started this business. I'm excited. I've already created in my business 8,000 group volume, and the month's not even over yet. And by the end of the month, we should have 10,000. And those people will get that. They get group volume. They get it. They're like, oh my gosh. Okay. Obviously, she knows what she's doing, and man, she's really moving on. That's going to impress them more than the money, okay? Because a lot of people don't understand, Miss Marie, the comp plan, and they don't know if that came from bonuses. They don't know if that came from you bringing a lot of people with you. They don't have a clue sometimes what that comp plan is about and how it pays out, and that really doesn't mean a whole lot to them other than it's money, okay? So, guys, that's a great way to keep the green-eyed monster at bay. And I just gave you a little gold nugget there, something I had to learn the hard way. As I said, the green-eyed monster came in, and I kept answering it with money, and I found out that that was not the thing to do because there's no right answer. it's a vicious circle.
Right. Well, and the other way we keep the green-eyed monster at bay, of course, is when we hear about those success stories, those rapid advancements, the large income earners that happen in a short time period, is we recognize it for what it is. It's an inspirational event, right? It's an example of what is possible in the industry. So rather than spending the time doing the comparison of, oh, well, I've been at this for 6 months and I'm nowhere near the diamond level yet, and they're at it in 3 months. It should be an inspiration to you for what is achievable and what is possible. And it's always a great story to point new people towards, hey, here's what's possible. I'm not saying this is going to happen for you. Perhaps you'll, far surpass that. But you want to keep your focus on your own business, doing those consistent and correct business building activities, and continuing to build your business and keep your focus there, because eventually you will achieve that diamond level as long as you're doing those correct, consistent business building activities, keeping your focus on your business, your team, and not getting lost in the comparison game.
Yes. And there's so many different ways the green-eyed monster can stick its ugly head up, and we're just touching on a few. We're going to touch on some more here in a moment, but we wanted to kind of highlight this particular green-eyed monster because it's very common, and we just addressed how to fix it and how to avoid it. Okay, and avoiding it is just focus on the volume, on the group volume, focus on your past success. Okay, and then if you don't have that, defer to Marie. Okay, and that's how you keep that green-eyed monster at the bay in this particular scenario. When people are saying, well, how are you doing in the business? What have you accomplished, things, et cetera, et cetera. So the other part of the green-eyed monster is being jealous of the lifestyle, and you feel that you do have the abilities. In other words, Rob is a good speaker, and Rob is not afraid to talk to people, and Rob's out there building the business, but here's what Rob's not doing. Being honest with himself, because he's not doing consistent, correct business building activity. He's doing a little bit here, a little bit there, and he's having some success, and it's called teaser success. It teases you thinking that you don't have to do consistent, correct business building activity, that you can skip one of the steps in the 5 simple steps process, or that you can kind of do it your way instead of the way that you were taught. So what ends up happening is that you have teaser success. In other words, you got just enough to keep you going, thinking that you're doing the right things, and you're jealous of Miss Marie because you're working hard and you're not getting anywhere. And here you are, you're on your 60th day, and you can't figure out why, because of your work ethic, you're working hard, you haven't achieved the same level of success that she has.
Looks like Rob's furry family member there is having a bit of an issue. But yes, when you're pursuing the success, you want to make sure you're following those 5 simple steps and you're not skipping any of them. You don't want to get trapped by that teaser success, think you're being successful, and then your business just kind of falls apart because there's no consistency there.
Right.
You end up kind of going off on a tangent and getting lost in what I call management of your business, when in fact you haven't built enough of a business to be managing it yet.
Exactly. And your business stalls, Miss Marie, and because you dilute one of the 5 simple steps, or you add your own little thing there. One of the biggest mistakes, Miss Marie, is people on the music to the ears message. They start interjecting. They start out more times than not doing the right message. And then as they have some success with it, they start diluting that message a little bit. And they think, oh, okay, well, I'm still doing the message. It's not word for word. It's not. And there again, it's teaser, it's teaser success. And what happens is their sponsoring rate goes down a little bit, or they're sponsoring people below 5 and below because they're not using the right words. And on the surface, they're still doing the steps. They're still sponsoring people, and they think, okay, I'm still doing good. And so they start to lax a little bit, which is human nature. And so what they do is they dilute the process, and the process will start diluting the success without them realizing it, but they're still doing the hard work. And once again, the green-eyed monster pops its head up because on the 60th day, Rob looks at himself and says, well, me and Marie joined the same day. We're in the same organization, and she is rocking right past me. I have more experience in this business than she does, and yet I'm still stuck at level, like let's say a super direct, and she's an elite direct. Okay. And I'm like, how in the world is that? We're both working pretty much the same. I know Marie. I know the hours she's putting in. I'm doing the same thing. Why is this not working? And what happens is my business stalls, and I get frustrated. And the green-eyed monster. Not only am I frustrated by my lack of success, guys, but I get jealous of her success. I get jealous of the life that's the lifestyle I want, what she has. I want that income. Why is it that she has it and I don't? And then I start going to bed at night and my mind's racing. I'm not this type of person, but I'm just using this as an example. But here's the thing. I'm thinking, well, you know what? They're helping her and they're not helping me. In other words, upline leadership. They're telling her and they're giving her information they're not giving me. There's some what do you call it? Favoritism going on here. And that can really start to play on your mind. Believe me, I've seen it happen. I've experienced it. I can tell you that this, in fact, happens. Okay. So that green-eyed monster starts to come up and it's going to affect my business. It doesn't affect hers. There we go. And for all you on the podcast, I'm pointing, trying to point at Marie. And I'm thinking it's Marie's fault. And I'm thinking she's getting favoritism. And I'm all upset. And I'm now what? I'm now focused. The green-eyed monster has done what? Caused me to look at myself, inside myself. Not that what I'm doing. What I'm doing is I'm looking at the jealousy that's brewing up inside of me. And I'm got these thoughts in my head about what is it. She didn't earn it. There's no way she earned it. She had some special help, okay? And she got some special attention because daggone it, I'm working as hard as she is. And so now I'm looking at the internal feelings that I have instead of focusing on what is really going on here? Am I really doing the steps? Am I, instead of being honest with myself and evaluating myself, Rob, are you really doing the 5 simple steps? Are you doing them in their entirety? Are you doing them the way you were taught? Okay. Instead of looking at it that way and saying, I'm obviously doing something wrong, I want to deflect and say, you know what? I'm not successful because they're helping her and not me. Okay. And that's what the other green-eyed monster that pops up. Okay. And the only way that you can overcome that green-eyed monster is it all starts with me. I have to sit down and say, look, this is unrealistic. I know Marie, she earned that success. I'm obviously doing something wrong. That's the way you should look at yourself. Okay. If you're not having the success, and then what do, you defer to someone that knows more than you. Seek help. Don't try to be an island unto yourself. Miss Marie, being your own worst critic. We are hard on ourselves. You said that yesterday, and we are. But when we are going to evaluate the things we're doing, Miss Marie, we don't want to admit that we're not doing what we should be doing because that means we're wrong. It's like taking a paddle and spanking ourselves. We don't want to do that. We want to look at ourselves in the best light we can. We're hard on ourselves. We're harder on ourselves than other people are more times than not. How do I look? Am I standing up straight? Am I dressed right? Did I say the right things? We're hard on ourselves in that manner. But when we want to look at ourselves and say, am I doing step 1, step 2? I don't care what business is it in. We don't want to admit to ourselves or someone else that you're not doing it right. How many times have you tried to help somebody? No, I'm doing that. Immediately without, no, I'm doing that. They don't even want to talk about it. They're defensive about it, which tells me right away they're not. But you get my point. You've been there.
Yeah, and I think what you're highlighting here is where the green-eyed monster pops up when it comes from the attention being provided by the upline leadership. You start comparing what appears to be the attention you're getting from upline leadership versus someone else in your organization. Yeah. And I will tell you, the upline leadership is always going to focus where the momentum is happening.
Yes.
Right? They are going to focus on the people that are doing those consistent, correct business building activities. Their organization is growing. Oftentimes they're going upline with questions. And they're taking the advice they're getting and going back and putting their head down and working and continuing to grow. So, of course, naturally, you have to keep in mind, too, as your organization grows, you have so many people within your organization. You can't spend the same amount of time with every person. So the leaders are going to spend more time with those who appear to be up and coming leaders to help continue, pushing their success and helping them succeed, because they've shown the hunger, the fire, the passion for it. Whereas you may be going to them and asking for advice, and they may tell you something and you go back thinking, well, I actually am more comfortable doing it this way.
Yes.
And you kind of keep just trotting along at that same level, and you're not attaining that success. You're not experiencing that same growth. And the leadership will recognize that.
Yes.
And they will react accordingly. So, again, it has to come back to being self-aware of what you're doing within your business and being able to evaluate yourself objectively in terms of what am I doing and what am I not that's contributing to the success. And listening to the advice from the people who have been successful, know how to do it, and not think you necessarily know how to do it better or decide a different way of doing it will be more successful. Track with the people that are having the success. Follow along that path that they've already blazed for you. When you achieve a high level of success, then maybe you can go off and experiment with something slightly different. But you want to get to that high level of success before you start, throwing a monkey wrench in the works.
Yeah. And, there's a couple things you brought up there. Guys, first and foremost, I'm jealous of her success. And I'm looking at myself, the green-eyed monster. I'm looking inside of myself internally, and I'm jealous. We're in this business the same amount of time, 60 days. She's rocketed past me. I've not, because I'm not doing the right things. And she stated, and I wanted to set that premise because that's what this particular point's about. And she's right in that I'm now focusing on the fact that she's getting favoritism from the upline leadership. And that's what she touched on. So I wanted to connect those two dots about this particular green-eyed monster. Okay. And she's absolutely right, because you heard me say they're showing her favoritism. She's getting information and help that I'm not getting. Okay. Now, to add to that is what she just said is absolutely correct. That's what they're going to do, is help her, because she is counseling with them. They're telling her what to do, and she's doing it. She's not adding her own. She just, okay. And that is what they want. Now, what do we teach you about the 5 simple steps? And what is the essence of this business? The essence of this business, if there's nothing else that you learn from us, if there's nothing else that you walk away from this industry as a whole, if you choose to join it, and if you listen to us and follow us, if there's nothing else you learn, is this. The essence of the business is finding and working with leaders. That's it. The more leaders you have in your business, the bigger it's going to be, the more stable it's going to be, the more profitable it's going to be. And you're going to be the envy of your peers and contemporaries, et cetera, et cetera. So the point is that since you know that, she just highlighted it. They are working with her because she listens and takes action and does what they tell her she needs to do. They're not her boss. They're telling her because they're trying to help her. And she realizes that. She looks at it in that manner. They're not telling me what to do. They're not my boss, but they're telling me because they're saying, Marie, you're on a roll. Here's what you need to do next. And she goes out and does it, just as they told her. She doesn't dilute it. She doesn't water it down. She doesn't ignore it. So when we're teaching you the 5 simple steps, what do we tell you? When you log into your back office, one of the things we tell you is look to see where the volume is. Look to see where the pin rank advancement is. Those are your leaders. That is who you work with. You do not work with people that do not earn it. In this scenario, Rob has not earned it, okay, because Rob has watered down the music to the ears message, or Rob has skipped a step. And even though I've been here for 60 days and worked just as hard as she has and put in just as many hours, I'm not doing the steps. So I'm not creating the consistent success that catches the upline leadership's attention. Okay, that is what she was talking about in a nutshell. That's what we teach you. That's the reason why we tell you what is the essence of the 5 simple steps: to identify and work with your leaders. They're working with her and not me. They're working with her and not me, because I'm not doing the right things and I won't listen. So there. Just to summarize, well, I wanted to summarize that point because you made an excellent point, but I want people to understand how all that ties together and what you were getting at there. I wanted to make sure that they understood. And what I mean by tied together, I'm talking about the things we've been talking about past episodes. They'll forget those past. I wanted to bring it together in this particular great point that you made, and so that they'll get what it is you're saying, that it's clear, crystal clear to them, because you made a great point, and I didn't want it to get lost in that jungle of information we give them.
Well, right. And the key again, that working with and developing leaders and having that duplication occur throughout your organization, right? And again, you want to duplicate the correct things, not the negative things. And working with the leaders and putting your focus on those areas of momentum is the correct form of duplication.
Yep. And here's the thing, Miss Marie. Well, yes, you're absolutely right. And I'm jumping the gun a little bit because I was going to say something. I was going to tag on to that, but it's totally different green-eyed monster moment.
Well, and maybe we need to go there.
Well, maybe so. Okay. All right, I'll do it. What I was going to say is, guys, is that there's another green-eyed monster that rears its ugly head. And what it is that it has to do with relationships. And I don't mean just romantic, okay? And I mean even business relationships. There are, because I've been fortunate enough to be around some big time people in the industry. There again, people that you would know if I mentioned their names, or you could look them up and see the impact they've had on the industry. And I don't want to drop their names. I don't think that's important in examples. Now, the reason I bring this up is that when I join companies, I told you before that if I was looking for a new company and I found out that so-and-so was with that company, I would hunt them down, call them. More times than not, I had their number. But the point is, I would get a hold of them and ask business questions. And then I'd say, okay, I want to join you. Okay. Now, I didn't go out bragging. I might sometimes say, well, hey, I'm working with so-and-so. We've known each other for a long time, and I decided to join the organization because there's a lot of leverage there. Okay. And I would tell that part. But outside of that, I'd never advertised that relationship. Why? Because people got jealous. People that, believe it or not, that raised the green-eyed monster, you would think that the people would be mature enough to not, in other words, what I'm saying, Miss Marie, they were jealous not only of the professional relationship we had, but the personal relationship we had too. When we got together at events and we would hang out, and Miss Marie, we would be at the bar or we would be eating, and people would be jealous that it was just me and that person. Okay. And that person didn't want to talk to anybody else. And you know what? They were comfortable with me because of the fact that we didn't talk business. We talked life. We talked other things. And they talked business all the time. And they knew that when people approached them, they wanted to do what? Talk business, or they wanted a picture or an autograph. They weren't anti-people at all. What I'm saying is that sometimes when they were out on the road, they just wanted to enjoy the moments that they had alone. And so people would be like, well, you guys were being, I'm using this term loosely, elitist, because you guys are sitting over by yourself. You wouldn't talk to anybody. I mean, the green-eyed monster would come up in those moments and cause real resentment between some of my downline and me. And especially if I wouldn't introduce them to that individual. And believe it or not, sometimes they'd say, Rob, I just want to be able to sit down and talk cars with you, or talk trips with you, and, talk family. And I really don't want, to do any photographs or, things like that. And so I would respect that, obviously. But the thing is that that's not how it came across to my downline. So that's a big green monster, guys, that can come up and cause real resentment. Well, what do you do when that happens? And Miss Marie, I'm not going to ramble on. I'm just going to answer it because this is really a short green-eyed monster moment. Guys, the only thing you can do is you can say they requested that I not bring anybody over there. Now, they're either going to believe it or they're not. Okay, and it doesn't matter, because here's the thing. We're all adults. Okay, and your job is to tell the truth. They did not want anybody around. Okay. And if you notice, they didn't even bring their own people around. It was just us. Okay. So here's the thing. And if they say, well, that's not blah, 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 And if they really make an issue out of it, I tell them, I say, look, you know what? This is going to cause an issue between you and I. I honored their request, and that's the end of it. That's the truth. That's the end of it. I'm not going to discuss it anymore. If you're going to make an issue out of it, then it's going to cause a problem between you and I. I mean, that's once again, you got to have the backbone to do that. But what am I doing? I'm protecting my own business. I'm protecting myself. I'm protecting their business without them realizing it. Okay. And I'm being a good friend because a friend that I treasure, asked me not to do something. I'm going to honor that request, whether this other person likes it or not. So if they continue, then I will tell them straight up, I'll tell them in private. I'm not going to do it in front of everybody else. Look, I will refuse to work with you if you're going to continue to push this and make this an issue. This is silly. You're going over the top. If you're going to do this, I am not going to work with you. Okay. If this is the attitude you're going to have, because Miss Marie, once they do that, they show me their true character. They show me their true intent. And if they're going to make a mountain out of a molehill, then I know right now they're on the spot that this is someone I do not want to work with. Okay. It's hard to back up from that moment. It's hard to take that moment back. And believe it or not, I've seen these things take place. So I wanted to bring that up, guys, because it does happen. Okay. If me and Marie are out at an event and Marie does not feel like dealing with anybody, she's not in a good mood, she's been through a health issue, whatever, and she said, Rob, I really would appreciate it if you just try and keep the people away for a while. I just want to come down and have something to eat. And she may not come down when everybody else that's at the convention are down there. She may come down an hour later, hoping that most of the people are gone. She's a friend. If she makes that request, I'm going to honor that request. And if my downline doesn't understand that and are being a pain about it, then I'm going to stand up to them. So there, Miss Marie, I just wanted to let you know.
Yeah, there's a fine line between the business relationships and the personal relationships, right? And sometimes it gets blurred. And it's hard to tell the difference. And I think it's especially a gray area within the network marketing industry, because as a whole, people tend to be very friendly, and there can be an impression of a friendship there when in fact it's really just a business relationship. Like as you're growing your business and your team is growing and you're developing leaders, you can't possibly be friends with everyone in your organization. It's not possible.
No, it's not. No.
So it's one of those areas that's really, it's a difficult thing to navigate sometimes for people.
It is. And there again, that's the reason why we're bringing up different green-eyed monster scenarios is for that particular reason. And the guys, you have to be strong in these green-eyed monster things, because here's what's going to happen. People are going to, if you're not honest with them, if you're not fair and firm with them, here's what's going to happen. They're going to spread rumors. And those rumors, I've seen it, I've experienced it. They will spread rumors about you or about the moment that you had between each other. And they will say that things that are not true, or they'll tell half a truth. And the next thing you know, this is spreading throughout your business. Rob's a ding dong, Rob's mean, Rob's nasty, Rob lied, Rob this. And the next thing you know, you've got 3 or 4 legs that are leaving your business because they're all pissed off because of this rumor that went out there. And that leads into another green-eyed monster moment here. Look, relationships. Miss Marie and I are good friends, and there is no doubt I'm a touchy-feely person, and I don't mean that in a Joe Biden type way. Okay. I will give guys hugs. I'll put my arms around guys. I'll do the same thing with women if they're comfortable with that. The point is Miss Marie and I could be walking down the hallway and I put my arm around her and give her a big hug as we're talking, just as friends, to show human affection to another human being that you appreciate and love. Okay. Now, the thing is that other people that see that may take it the wrong way. Okay. Now, I would never do that to Miss Marie in a professional event. I would never do that, because that's how rumors get started. And that's not fair to her. Okay. I'm strong enough to handle it. And I'm not saying she's not. It's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that I don't want to put her in a position as a woman where she has to defend her honor, her integrity, and her reputation over something that I did that was a humanistic thing, but that's not how other people would perceive it. What is the proper thing for me to do? To not do that to her, not to put her in that position. Okay. So the point is that if those moments happen in your business, at an event, whatever, rumors about a potential relationship, okay, romantic relationship, can ignite and cause real problems. If there's an affair going on between two cross-line distributors or partners in your business, that causes real issues. Okay. Obviously, we're not the morale police. We're not, the morality is not supposed to be in our definition as business owners, right? And that's a touch and go situation. Okay. I have addressed those things in the past. And all I've said is, look, you guys, are you serious about building a business? Because it doesn't take a genius to see what's going on. And I'll just kind of gently go up in private and say, hey, I just got a question. Are you guys serious about building a business? Yeah, well, you might want to think about what you're doing, because it's going to really have a negative impact. And that's the only thing that I have the place to say. Okay. And because I'm not their boss. What I'm doing is giving friendly advice, especially if they have a good thing going business wise. Because here's what's going to happen, regardless of what people may think about relationships and morality and ethics and all of that. Guys, I'm going to tell you, I've seen it happen many, many times. You mess around with somebody else's spouse, somebody else's girlfriend, boyfriend, you are in big trouble in this business. The other person is not going to take that lightly. And rumors are going to spread fast. And I've seen it destroy businesses, Miss Marie, almost overnight. I've seen people leave their businesses overnight. I've seen people refuse to work with those people anymore. They would not take their calls, emails, nothing. I mean, it just almost overnight was like a towering inferno, just poof, and all of a sudden everything was gone. So I bring that up. It's a tough subject to talk about. It's a touchy thing to do. I'm not telling you have to do that. You can totally ignore it if you want. But I want to tell you, it's going to cause some serious problems in your business. And if you really care about your downline, you want to bring it up anyway, but do it in a tactful way. They're adults. If that's what they choose, more power to them, I guess. I don't know. But the bottom line is that it's something that can cause a real issue, and it's a touchy one. As you can see, it's hard for me to address because I know what the answer is, but that doesn't necessarily mean that my answer is going to be their answer, because it's their business. And I realize that. The one thing you'll always hear me talk about when we're addressing issues in this business model, and it's because of it's the way I am, is that I am not their boss. I'm going to be professional all the way through. I'm going to be human, but first and foremost, I'm going to say, okay, professionally, what is the right thing for me to do? Ethically, I'm different than other people. Okay, morale-wise, my morals are different. Okay, I understand that. I understand that other people have different guidelines, different morals, and things of that. And once again, I'm not the morality police. It's not my job to say that this is right, this is wrong. I say these things to you because I want you to understand the professional stance I take when I'm building a business. I wanted to share that moment with you so that maybe you can see some insight for yourself in these words, okay, and how you might handle certain situations like this. So, Miss Marie, that green-eyed monster in this situation can be really bad, really ugly, and it can go south so fast, literally overnight. I've seen it happen many times. I've seen diamond distributorships destroyed, literally, because the spouse was messing around with another spouse. And you know what, Miss Marie, we're in close proximity with each other. A lot of times we meet each other on the road at these events, and people are attracted to other people. That's just the way it is. Just because you're attracted to someone doesn't mean you have to act on it, right? We're human. We're visual beings. We're going to find something that's attractive, whether it's a car, a house, a diamond, or whatever.
Well, right. And you really you want to operate with integrity, both in your business life and your personal life. And like I mentioned before, in the network marketing industry, especially at these big events, those lines cross and blur quite a bit. Because you are friends with people in your business. You're building your business, they're building their business, but you're also developing a friendship at the same time. You find like-minded people who are passionate about the same things that you are. It's easy to develop friendships, relationships, those types of things. And, you know, we're not saying all relationships are wrong. I mean, you know, if there was a matchmaking service, ooh, there's a network marketing company concept. We could develop a matchmaking service. No, I'm totally kidding. But my point is that it's just easy for those lines to blur, right? And you just have to be careful. Just make sure you're operating from a place of authenticity and integrity in your business relationships as well as your personal ones. Keep them separate as much as you can, and just be aware. I mean, awareness is the most important thing, I think, when it comes to this particular green-eyed monster.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. And we're just, I guess the best way to leave it is you're going to have to figure out, guys, how you want to handle it and what the situation is. Because those things are so fluid, Miss Marie. And there again, sometimes we can misperceive. Like I said, if you and I were walking down the hallway at an event and I put my arm around you and gave you a hug, that could be misinterpreted. So once again, I would encourage you not to open your mouth until you're sure what's going on. And some of the times that I've had to bring this up, I knew the people, unfortunately, and it was obvious what was going on. And they understood what I was getting at. It was an awkward moment for all of us. But I did my part as a friend, as well as a professional. And it was not one of my favorite moments in this business, but it does happen. And once I realized it, just to let you know, Miss Marie, then we need to close out the show. When those things happen, I knew what the result was going to be. It was just a matter of time. So you know what I did? I got under those legs and stabilized them real fast. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, I mean, and again, that's because you're focusing on your business, you're controlling what you can control and not necessarily paying attention to what's going on around you and getting trapped in that comparison game either.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, here's what I'm saying, and this is another golden nugget, and then we're going to move off this subject because this is an advanced thing, but we're sharing a little bit advanced so you know what's in the members area. Here's the thing. You say, well, Rob, what do you mean? How do you stabilize that? How do you get under that? Guys, here's what it was. I looked and I see two different businesses messing around with each other. And let's say that both those businesses are two of my biggest producers, okay? And I'm like, oh, crap. I know what's going to happen there. It's unethical for me to contact their leaders, the people that they personally sponsored, okay? I'm not going to do that, okay? Because there's no right way to make that conversation happen. And plus, it's unethical. There's no real bylaws that says you can't do that. But at the same time, because they're all in my business, they're all in my group, right? But at the same time, I did not personally sponsor those people. They did, okay? They have a professional and possibly a personal relationship with those people that are in their downline. I'm not going to do that. Bad news on my part if I do. Here's the thing. I'm going to sponsor new people, and guess where I'm going to put them, Miss Marie? In those two legs. And because I personally sponsored them, I'm going to work with them, okay? Meaning, okay, I'm going to have to, like if Marie was one of the people that was had the business that I was concerned about, without her knowing it, I'm going to put them in her downline somewhere. Okay, and I may contact somebody like Sally and say, Sally, this is Rob Cootie. I noticed that you're new to the business. I'm going to put somebody underneath of you if it's okay, but I'm going to work with them directly. Okay, I'm going to help you get started. Okay, and because why do I do that? Because I need Miss Sally's ID number. Okay, potentially if I want to put that person in Miss Sally's business, I can place them there in certain companies. That is as you know, Miss Marie, that is a tough thing to identify at this moment. Some companies, based on the comp plan binary, you can see what I'm getting at, whether it's a step away or a binary comp plan. That's the reason why I kind of struggled there for a moment, because it could be fuzzy and I don't want to confuse you guys. The point is, I'm placing people, I'm sponsoring them, my ID number is attached to them, but I'm putting them down in Marie's business so I can stabilize that leg without her knowing it. So that if her business falls apart, I've got leaders where I can hopefully not lose that whole leg. Does that make sense, Miss Marie?
Yep, that's what you want to do. It's people you're sponsoring, and then you're able to work with and continue building the volume in that leg. So if
That's
you
right.
lose people, if people break away, whatever happens, that it doesn't totally destabilize your organization and affect your income negatively.
There it is. She's got it. There
Yeah.
it is. So I'm taking control of my own future by what? Doing my own thing and accepting responsibility, even though it's somebody else causing the issues. It's my job, because it's my business, to stand up and do what I have to do to take care of that situation. I'm being proactive and not waiting for that terrible thing to take place. Okay. Because a large portion of my income and lifestyle comes out of those legs. I got to act now and get my butt in gear and work and make that that leg stabilize when those things break away. And that's the only way. So there you go. Just a little golden nugget. That's an idea of some of the stuff you'll learn in the members area that you will not learn anywhere else. And there's more detail to how you make that process work, but we're not going to get into that, because you got to join the members area to learn that. How's that for a teaser?
Yeah. And just a little pitch there.
That's exactly what
It's coming.
That's right. I'm a marketer too. I'm not just a network marketer. I'm a marketer. I'm a business person. But you got to have a little bit of snippet of what's in there, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, Miss Marie, we had a great day today. It was a great subject. Those are there are other smaller green-eyed monster moments, but those are not worth addressing. We addressed the biggest and most common, unfortunately, green-eyed monsters that pop up in the business building process. And not only did we address them and tell you about them, but we also told you how to overcome them and hopefully how to avoid them altogether. But unfortunately, you're dealing with human beings. And when you deal with human beings, guess what? There's no consistent right way to handle things. It's a fluid thing that you have to adjust. It's like having ball bearing hips. You got to move when the flow dictates.
Just when you think you have it figured out, they're going to throw you a curve.
I know it. It's so true. So true. Yes. All right.
Awesome. And as always, if you would please share, like, and comment on our various social media platforms. Give us that thumbs up if what you're hearing is making sense to you, you're liking it. Also, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and register for those notifications so you can find out when we're going live. You can join us, or at least know there's some new material out there for you. And of course, be sure you're sharing it. You want to involve your team, your organization in this. Again, it's all about the duplication. We are here to assist you with information you're not going to hear anywhere else. Yep. And rather than trying to repeat it and maybe getting caught up in the telephone game with your team, just refer them to our website, to our YouTube channel, send them a link to the video. It can be super helpful in helping you help them build their business, and you all become successful together.
Yep.
And as always, be sure to visit our website, themlmsolution.net. That's themlmsolution.net. And of course, you can find us on all the social media platforms by doing a search on the hashtag #MLMsolution. And then finally, we have our feedback form available to you on our website, themlmsolution.net/survey. If you go there, 2 minutes or less, you can fill that out. Give us some feedback. Let us know what you're hearing that's working for you. Feel free to give us any suggestions of topics you'd like to hear us cover, any questions you may have. We do try to cover those in our podcasts if we can. If not, we will definitely get back to you with a response. We are very responsive to all our social media channels, as well as anything that comes through via the website. So be sure to contact us, whatever makes you most comfortable there. We're happy to help.
We are. Way to go, Miss Marie. You do that like a real pro. Have you ever done radio?
I had dreams once upon a time. I thought radio DJ would be really fun, but it's never quite happened. So this is the closest I've come.
Well, guess what? We are going to be on track to have a big audience across the world. So maybe your dream has a chance to come true.
I'm excited about it.
I am too. I'm tickled pink to be able to help people with what this business model can do. All right. With that being said, guys, Tomorrow is one of our favorite times, Freelance Friday, tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. As always, we stream live on our Facebook page and our YouTube channel. Please, as she said, use hashtag the MLM Solution to find us on those platforms. And once again, help us by doing the thumbs up, the dancing bear, the heart, the crying lady, whatever it is, to help us get the word out to our fellow network marketers across the globe so they too can have access to this empowering information. And that way they can make a wonderful adjustment in their lives and improve their lives through this great business model. That being said, Miss Marie, 11 a.m. tomorrow, we shall see you Freelance Friday. Bye, everybody.
Thank you for listening to the MLM Solution Podcast. For more info, visit our website, themlmsolution.net. Please follow us on the following platforms: Facebook, YouTube, etc. And share this podcast with our fellow network marketers around the world by hitting the share button on our various platforms.